Hi, and welcome to this chat today. It's really good to have you listening in. I'm Gabriela Ribeiro of True Marketing, and it's a real pleasure to have you all here. And the primary reason I wanted to do this talk today, outside of sharing why High Tours is such a wonderful, creative, capable DMC, is that I know that sometimes we all have challenges with honeymooners when they come to us and ask us that big question, where should we go? Especially hard when they don't have any idea and they're looking for total guidance and just complete open book. So it's very challenging. I know that. So wanted to try to continue to come up with some new ideas today. And what I did was I put some things together here that High Tours has brilliantly kind of paired up and to show you how these destinations can work seamlessly and together to showcase, the best of everything and really kind of cater to whatever the couple is looking for, whether it's adventure, whether it's culture seeking, whether it's something spiritual or just relaxing on the beach. So I think a lot of you will be also surprised that a lot of this, these unique combinations turn out to be pretty affordable. So that what they net out to be cost-wise will make sure that they're pretty highly profitable for you too. And the flights are long, okay, with everything I'll be talking about today. But with regard to what you're going to see, when it comes to honeymooners, we know that they typically have more time than the average traveler. And this is also a time that they want to do and see and taste and feel as much as possible. So give them the fresh thoughts they may have never considered. So High Tour is a little bit about them. They're an absolutely wonderful DMC, and they're one of the strongest in the Indian subcontinent. They've got 24 years of experience in all of the countries that they service, which span India, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, UAE, and Egypt. So their team is highly creative. And then we have at the helm the owner, Prem. And if you've ever been to any of our road shows, you have met him. He's very energetic, very, very charismatic. I'm sure you'll remember him. And he really always loves to see the positive opportunities and everything, which is one of the reasons why they fared so well and stayed so strong, even in the toughest of challenges. So let's dive into some of these unique combos here. So first we have a pairing of Nepal and Bhutan. This is a journey through ancient kingdoms, mountains, medieval city squares, spiritual monasteries, and really an opportunity to connect with the culture. So the itinerary normally begins in Kathmandu, which is a really captivatingly unique city that you'll absolutely want to capture in photographs, from the beautiful buildings to the eaves of the pagodas to the vibrant markets. And definitely don't forget to taste your way through the food stalls. It's a surprisingly bustling city that you get to navigate with a guide in a rickshaw, generally who knows all of the local food haunts. So if you're hungry, he will definitely take you to all of the greatest little hidden restaurants for unique Nepalese meals. And I will say, if the couple is active and they do want to trek and hike, plenty of peaks, plenty of large scale opportunities to achieve, different sorts of different heights and different peaks that they can ascend all the way up to base camp, really, if they wanted to do that, or even further. So High Tours is capable of organizing all of those kind of things, depending on how far and how crazy they want to get. So when we do, the kind of landing in Nepal kind of thing, it's really just a little bit of time to orient yourself here, and then moving on to Bhutan, where you're treated to a private guide who would definitely, kind of orient you with the capital and local bazaars to see the handicrafts, kind of get you up close to Bhutan's traditional art, and then onward. So here you see a list of some of the experiences here that I'll talk through and show some photos on, which I think you'll be mesmerized with. And then what happens afterwards, is that you move onward and outward into some of the most beautiful parts of Bhutan. So there's a brilliantly scenic drive towards Punakha, which is just one of the most famous in the world, because pretty much everywhere you look, you're surrounded by the snow-capped Himalayas, which is just something that's breathtaking. And these 108 stupas that are world famous, that are sort of testaments to spirituality here. And these buildings just kind of go one after another, and they're just beautiful and magnificent to behold. And then lots of times you can actually get up close with the locals and sort of interact and see how they pray and how they worship. Sometimes you'll get to raise your own prayer flag with some people, and sometimes they'll even go into depth and explain the belief of how they feel the wind activates prayers and blessings. It's kind of a beautiful thing too when you let yourself immerse in such wonder. In Punakha, there's also a fertility temple, which might be fun for couples. It's fascinating, and locals believe that, if a couple prays here in the temple, they will bear a child one day. So you've got this palace of great happiness. You've got all sorts of beautiful, ancient architecture with very, very symbolic excuse me, features in the insides. But what I will say is that, everywhere you go, Bhutan is also frequently ranked the happiest country in the world to live in. So that's, they base it on a happiness quotient number that has to do, I guess, with fresh air and sustainable initiatives and just heart-centered living, and a genuine concern for fellow man and for saving the environment. So it's a very elevated, very spiritual place to be, and also just, in essence, very happy. So you'll meet people that are just always smiling and always warm and welcome and very secure in their lives, even if they don't have much materially. It is just it's a happy lifestyle. So I think that definitely rubs off. So you've got, just these verdant hills and these beautiful plantations and beautiful places you can walk through and trek and find peace. But then if you want to kind of twist it up, they've got some really beautiful places you can go that are more challenging, such as hiking. Here it's the Tiger's Nest, and this is one of the most famous monasteries, really, not just in Bhutan, but in the world. I'm sure you've seen this photo before. So you can actually trek up the cliff to this to this monastery that's 900 meters up in the sky, and then you're rewarded not only with an opportunity to walk inside and behold it, but also to look at that spectacular view down below and truly embrace something amazing. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is fascinating. And then afterwards, you can enjoy a local dinner with a family nearby, where you can sort of get a glimpse of their life and how they live up here, and just kind of what they do from day to day and what they believe, which is amazing. So Bhutan's pretty fascinating in itself. It's not a extreme luxury destination. There are now some luxury product options, but really it's all about embracing the lifestyle and the mantra here, and really immersing yourself in some of the more special spiritual places. Okay. And if that was cool enough for you, I hope it was, but we're going to get even more immersive. So now we're going to pair up India and Sri Lanka, but the more spiritual and adventurous sides of both. So this is not the India you might be thinking. You normally may think complex cities, crowded, vibrant, sleepless nights, those kind of things. And yes, and in some of India's bigger cities, this is how it is. But in the south of India, we're talking Kerala, very, very soothing kind of lifestyle based on the water, based on, just living off of the land. So this is the region where, the art of Ayurvedic spa and the art of using spices and food kind of originated. So it's a very, very different experience. So in this particular journey, we would start in the city of Kochi. You see some of the experiences I'll talk through here. You can just have a quick look at a little preview for this particular itinerary, but you'd start there. And this is an iconic photo there. You've got the fishing nets, and you have that stand-up fishermen off of these docks. But in the city, it's enchanting because all of the architecture was influenced by British, Dutch, and Portuguese settlers and explorers. So you'll get a unique tour of the city, really, and sort of like all of the serene areas that are more iconic. And then a couple of days here are best spent on a houseboat. Life really is based on the water here, and it's a very serene, more laid back lifestyle. So here you have these luxurious houseboats that really float through these blue waters, and these are slow moving barges that are really beautiful to look at. So I'll show you just an example here, and they are designed and constructed with local wood primarily, and held together with rope knots only. So they don't use nails in the construction, which is fascinating. And they can survive for generations with the proper maintenance. So life on the water here is very simple. Most of these houses that you'll find as you float past don't have electricity. So, people are enjoying the daylight and appreciating what they have, and very, very much living off of the land. So as you go slow, it's kind of nice that you can see and appreciate, the slice of life here and the pace of life, and observe people and what they're doing from day to day as they live on and, the water, and live from the water. So it's a lovely way to see. And along the way, the boats make stops. So for instance, you can visit the Munnar tea plantation, and that's home to some of the world's most renowned tea estates, where you can observe the entire process. Or if you wanted to hike, can go to the Lakshmi Hills, and that's got lush green tracks and a very cooling, consistent breeze. So you're able to kind of go further and not be overheated, and amazing natural aromas. So that's just an experience for the senses. As I mentioned, this is the region of spices. So there are plenty of spice plantation experiences that you can visit, where you can see what people are growing, why they're growing it, and taste things and figure out what best enhances what kind of food. which is amazing. And after a day at the farm, you can get enchanted by a local dance performance or perhaps a display of some of the oldest warrior fighting techniques, which still they'll showcase for you today, which is amazing. Excuse me. And then we would head you over to Sri Lanka, which is one of those quieter destinations, and it sits kind of gently and happily off the radar most of the time, but it really is a treasure trove unto itself. And so this has you arriving in Colombo, which is the capital city, and also quite fascinating. So here you're exploring Buddhist temples with the beautiful architecture and carvings. There's all sorts of different areas like this Peta district, which is multi-ethnic, and it's famous for its very chaotic and vibrant market scenes. So you can, ride in a tuk-tuk with a guide who will take you to all of the vendors who are selling everything from jewelry to vegetables to crafts and clothing and all of that, and then close out the day with a lovely, authentic dinner. So Sri Lanka is full of wonder. You can ride around in a tuk-tuk like you see here. You can have a car, a luxury car, whatever you prefer, a minivan, whatever you're comfortable with. But sometimes people really do like to sort of get into the get into the style here. So whatever the couple's preference is. I just kind of want to show you just how captivating it is. It's just endless lush palms and verdant hills and beautiful, almost seemingly manicured, but it is natural, with these gorgeous sunrises and sunsets, and very often seeing these spectacular scenes like elephants bathing in the water. This is kind of how it is. It's this small little island that is very, very full of just wonder and surprise around every corner. So we recommend, seeing all of the most iconic sites. So here is Sigiriya Rock, which is kind of one of the most important sites here. It's 200 meters above the plains, thousands of years old, and it's a structure that has water gardens, mirror walls, frescoes, ancient writings dating all the way back to the 8th century. So here and beyond, you can connect with locals in rural villages. You can take a small little lazy boat along the river to reach the other side to have a very authentic Sri Lankan lunch. So plenty of things to do here, just wonders to explore. We've got the Temple of Dambulla, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is quite striking. Temple composed of 5 separate caves that have, Buddhist paintings inside, all sorts of things, but just amazing. And then you've got excursions to some of the oldest and strongest ancient civilizations in the world, and some of the structures still exist today. Some of them are thousands of years old and great examples of antique Sri Lankan, architecture and craftsmanship. Quite a few spice gardens, herb gardens, you name it, similar to Kerala, where the guests would have just been. So you can actually appreciate lots of interesting flavors. So for foodies, this is a wonderful destination also. So if you're feeling adventurous, plenty of hikes, such as a hike to the Horton Plains, which is the highest plateau in Sri Lanka. Very, very worth to start early in the morning for very impressive sunrises. And then we've got the Ravana waterfalls and the Yala National Park. So this is very much like a fairy tale here. We do a guided hike so that you get to the falls easily and with the best vantage point for touching them and feeling the water, and also for great photography. And here in this game park as well, in this national park, you can do game drives. So here you'd be likely to be treated to sights of leopards, crocodiles, elephants, and more. So you can actually get a little safari in on your journey, as evidenced here. Just beautiful. I mean, you see these waters and the beaches, and there's just surprises everywhere. There's so much natural beauty. And then the great way to cap this journey is the town of Galle, which is the southern capital, which is full of Dutch architecture and influences, but in a tropical setting. It's a great place to linger and wander. There's long winding roads, tons of eclectic cafes, chic boutiques, very stylish small hotels that are all owned by local and foreign artists, writers, and designers. So kind of a great beachy, chill atmosphere to round out your stay, and that's what we would recommend. So think about Sri Lanka and pairing that with India or Sri Lanka on its own. Any of these, just by the way, can be done on their own, obviously, but these are just fun pairings because we know sometimes people like to do the 2-in-1. So here's another idea that I will leave you with, which is a bit more luxe and lavish with less of a busy schedule and a touch of the glam. So you can actually combine Dubai and Abu Dhabi with the Maldives, which is quite easy to do. So we begin in the UAE, and I would say a privately guided tour of Abu Dhabi is the best place to start. So you've got some of the highlights, including the magnificent Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, which is one of the largest in the world. Quite impressive. It is a stunning, stunning building that you do need some time to navigate. And obviously, we would make sure that you're aware of the proper dress codes and the protocols there as well. Drive along the Corniche, drive to the Yaz Island, which is phenomenal, and that's a lot of fun because that's all about Ferrari world and water parks and roller coasters and all of that. And if you're a Formula One fan like me, definitely go around that time and enjoy the race because that Yaz Island circuit is just amazing. Dubai is not far away, maybe about an hour's drive, so you could do that the next day and get enchanted with so many experiences. This is just it's a unique city. Sometimes it feels like a little bit of a dream. It's very luxe, very lavish, yet still affordable, full of amazing hotels, really for every price point, and for every type of guest, and just full of wonder. So here you can shop, you can dine like a king or a queen. Great experiences like a seaplane tour. I did that the last time I was there, where you're able to get some amazing, amazing views, just stunning, of the Palm Islands and of the buildings and beyond. Or a Dow boat cruise that you can take at night, or something a little bit different, like they have dinner in the sky there, which is an interesting concept, where you're hoisted up on a crane and you are kind of with your feet dangling in the air, and you're on this table above the sky, which you're dining on, and with fascinating views as you sort of move around in the sky while you're suspended there. You can actually opt for another night out in the desert, maybe take a 4x4 out there for some dune bashing, followed by a beautiful special barbecue dinner and festival under the stars. Or, and I did this last time too, start your morning ridiculously early and take a desert sunrise hot air balloon. It is just quite amazing. It's fascinating to see the sunrise over that vast, vast desert. And then onward to the Maldives, where it's just nothing but spectacular rooms, luxury properties, crystal blue waters, really impossibly beautiful beaches, and they're graced by powder white sand that is almost impossible. You have to see it to believe it. Generally, you fly into Male, and then you take a short either seaplane flight or a speedboat transfer, depending on which property you choose. And in the Maldives, really, it is about relaxation and natural beauty. Yes, I mean, these photos, I believe, are untouched. They're really, the water really is that blue and amazing, and it seems endless. So while you're here, it's really great to appreciate snorkeling, scuba diving, some of the maybe a dolphin cruise or a picnic sail to a private island where you can snorkel and have lunch. We always recommend it's just one of those enchanting overwater bungalow experiences for total privacy. You see this one with the water slide here that's especially fun. Dining underwater, all sorts of beautiful things that just are magnificent and very synonymous with the Maldives. So here it's more relaxed. There's not a ton of activity. There's not a ton of running around. So here, this is just a wonderful, wonderful way to sort of wind up your stay, in absolute perfection. This is probably the most beautiful, most perfect place in the world, as far as just lack of pollution, crystal clear skies, amazing stars, crystal clear water, everything pristine, and with a high focus on sustainability in the environment. So I hope these were helpful ideas. High Tours has tons, but this is just a few that I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found it helpful, and we are always here to help you with this region or beyond, whether they're single destination stays, multiple, we can absolutely help you connect them seamlessly. So I thank you so much for joining me, and we will chat with you next time. Thanks.